Hey, Taylor Johnson here. If you're listening to this, you've either made a great choice or you've accidentally clicked something while scrolling. Either way, you should stay. This is Pop Culture Pastor.
Pop Culture Pastor.
All right, Cody. Did you say your prayers?
I did.
Did you take your vitamins?
I did.
Oh, yeah, brother. Oh, man. Hulk Hogan, dude. This one brought back some memories for me.
What would Hulk Hogan do right now?
Probably take a bucket load of steroids. But, ow. Should I not have rushed right to that?
He would never do that, David.
Well, at least not the first few times you ask him. But then when you keep asking him, he might say, okay. He's not saying anything. Anyways, this is Pop Culture Pastor, and I'm not trying to make too much light of this.
When you said what Hulk Hogan do, my first thing was not tell the truth, but that was the first thing that came to my mind was he's not going to tell the truth.
He always tells the truth. He would never lie.
He stays kayfabe, boy. I mean, it's all kayfabe.
What would Terry Bollea do? Nothing, because Terry Bollea does not exist. Ouch. That
got dark.
If we're talking about this, it must mean that we are here for a What's Up Doc episode. This is Pop Culture Pastor, the podcast. My name's Dave. Cody's here.
I'm present.
And the other voice you heard is, of course, DJ Dangerfield,
yes, sir.
Who comes on all our episodes about documentaries. And we're going to talk about Hulk Hogan, Real American, on Netflix. Documentary on Netflix. 4-parter.
Yeah, and I'm not going to lie. I enjoyed it.
I absolutely did, too.
I enjoyed the mug.
Is it wrong to say that?
But I think... my age makes me way more I'm pretty nostalgic right now, Cody.
So for me, it was the second part to the Vince McMahon documentary, because the Vince McMahon documentary I said was Hulk Hogan and me, the Vince McMahon story.
Well, I don't think people realize that marriage. I really don't think that's a critical thing that people have to understand about wrestling, making it to pop culture. This has to work. They have to come together. And I think Hogan proves it when he goes to court and he doesn't testify against him.
Yep.
It's like there's a marriage there that you have to acknowledge.
Yeah. And so, yes, I enjoyed it, but I viewed it as the second part of the
Help
Vince
me,
McMahon
though.
documentary.
How old are you?
37.
Yeah, so that's...
80s child.
He's going to have a different perspective than us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so...
And I've noticed when we talk about wrestling, he has a different perspective than us.
I have a different perspective on a lot of things, is what I'm learning.
No, but sometimes it's not. I think a lot of times you can, because people think and personality is with the respect and the person and experience. But I think if you grew up during the rise of Hulk Hogan, there is a grace that blinds you to what needs to be said about him. Mm-hmm. And people have an expectation of us that we just can't. We can't give it. We can't talk about Hogan that way. Yeah, I can't anyway. I watched it and smiled through the whole thing. I mean, my wife is like, I've never seen. I was just like,
yeah. Well, there was like real shock. And I'm saying this out of order because it doesn't really have anything to do with the main point of the documentary overall. But there's like real shock when he dies as a 71-year-old man, which you know. Like
that's about
he'd seen some wars. He'd done a lot of substances. Mm-hmm. Like it's not exactly so.
For a
shocking.
Wrestler, you're 120.
Yeah,
those are dog years.
But people, the reaction of the people that they had on, like even regular people, I was so stunned by like the reaction of like who was the assistant CEO guy of WWE,
Pritchard.
Yeah, Pritchard. Oh. Like even him, man, they were like, I just can't believe it. And I'm like, can't believe it.
Yeah.
The dude was killing his heart for years, man.
Yeah.
With all the substances he was taking. So,
it's tough.
But that speaks to what people saw him as when we were kids, DJ, as like a superhero.
Absolutely.
I think it's Paul Levesque, Triple H, who says he might have been the most recognizable man on earth. And I think he might be right. Michael Jordan and him. That's it. That's the group.
Yeah, and it was just that time period it was the glory days of pop culture.
It's a good point.
It was the glory days of pop. The 80s and 90s are the glory days of pop culture. And so Hogan comes on the scene, and anybody that's connected to him, it's like you're in a rocket ship of fame and money and notoriety.
Yeah.
And all the decisions he made early, just genius. The Rocky movie,
Mr. Nanny.
He just it still was it was a big deal. All those things were key components to all of his action figures in the cartoon. Remember the cartoon?
Oh yeah,
it was just a big thing. It was just a big deal.
Yeah, he was everywhere. Breakfast cereal.
Every Saturday morning you're waking up and you're watching Wayne Gretzky, Bo Jackson, remember that, and Michael Jordan, and then you're going to watch the wrestling cartoon afterwards.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, you're right. It's just, he was one of the most recognizable faces. It was like, there was Muhammad Ali went away, and then here comes Hulk Hogan.
Dude, I'd forgotten completely about WrestleMania, where Muhammad Ali's in there as the
Yes, right.
and he's like punching people.
He's throwing pitches.
I'm like, oh man, he is easily years into like his Parkinson's by this point.
He's throwing a good jab.
He's still throwing punches.
But still, the thing is, Dave, there's even Ali understood kayfabe. Mike Tyson, every sport has kayfabe. I don't care what anybody says. It's now in our politics.
Oh,
We have a huge kayfabe thing going in our politics that you can't talk about because the people on the followers are drinking the Kool-Aid of these people, not realizing that there is some script writing going on, and people are meeting before press conference. You say this, I'll say this, you say this. So it's like, and these people are like fighting over it, and they're not realizing, like, dude, you're no different than an NWO fan right now.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that for sure.
Wolfpack for life.
Oh, amen.
I want to
just the theme music alone.
Oh yeah,
that. Boom, boom, boom. Gosh, man.
I want to specifically hit that later because there's one thing about Hulk Hogan that has to be discussed as far as our current political climate and the president of the United States himself.
Yeah.
That I want to talk about later. But
that was the weird part of the documentary.
Yes. What, that he was on it?
Yeah, that was
in the White House.
That's so crazy. It's like, how do you have time for this?
How hilarious was it when they wanted him to talk more about? I can't even remember what the question was. It wasn't even that big of a deal. It was something deeper into Hulk Hogan, and he was like, "Nah, I don't think I'm going to answer that. I've given you enough." Like President Trump's something else, man.
Well, in The Art of the Deal, he talks. There's a whole chapter dedicated to, if you want to build your brand, you build it with celebrities, and it's not like he's against like having celebrities make commercials for you. You befriend them, you bring them in, and they do all the work for you.
Yeah, I thought it was. This is skipping around a little bit. I know
when have we done it in order when I'm here?
Yeah, we probably won't talk about this in the main structure of what I've got here, so I will bring this up now. The voicemail from Trump to Hulk Hogan after Hulk appears at the convention, and he says, he calls him, he says, "You're a great entertainer." He says entertain. You did wonderful. That was entertainment. He kept using the word entertainment, and I thought that was a real insight into what a lot of people don't get about Trump. Is he's playing a part.
Kayfabe.
He's acting.
Kayfabe.
Like, all of this is like entertainment.
We're back.
Trump's not in politics. He's in entertainment.
Kayfabe again.
Yeah. So I thought that
never goes away.
I thought that was very interesting.
Everything is wrestling.
I'm with. See, now it's in the NBA. You know.
All right. Let's get this thing under control a little bit. In this documentary, Hogan says a couple lines. He says, "Some people hate me." And elsewhere he says, "But after I'm gone, I think people will want to know the truth. Who was this guy really?" So I think that should be like kind of the overall like driving force of the documentary of what we're trying to establish here, what we're trying to get to the bottom of. And then through that, there's all these other subjects that are pretty clear to talk about as we're talking about this guy's life. So this is Hogan's final interview. It's called Hulk Hogan Real American. The 4 parts threw me at first because I wasn't interested. I'm like, I don't want to watch 4 parts. Who's got time for that? And then
you said that out loud, or did you say that in your own heart?
I said it. And then I watched the first 2 and I was in. I had all the nostalgia in the second one because it kind of works through his career. And then the NWO episode was, of course, great.
Yes.
And then I thought the 4th episode was going to be a slog. I'm sitting here in the radio room today and I'm just bawling.
Yeah, man.
I'm just crying, man. And I felt like I had no emotional attachment in the game. And by the end of it,
what's wrong with you guys? It's Hulk Hogan.
I might be cold-hearted.
Yeah, but I think that's it. I really do.
He's like the Ultimate Warrior.
No, but it's an age thing. I really do.
Hogan.
I really think that's age, man.
I really think the Ultimate Warrior thought his name was Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, this is hard.
Boy, he was bad. Okay,
Bless his
so this
Rest
was
in peace.
This was his final interview before he died. It's filmed in early 2025, months before he died of a heart attack in July 2025 at 71. Netflix shot 20 plus hours with him before he passed. So this doc is a WWE co-production, which matters, means it's authorized. Some reviewers have called it a puff piece. Would you agree? What do you think about that?
I think, especially since he died, I think the best way to do it, if he can't answer, I mean, I can see some of these people, the Hitlers but the majority of people or human beings are complicated. I think the best way to do most human beings, I mean, serial killers and maybe some of those people, but you just honor them.
Yeah.
And so I think you should make it as puffy as possible.
I found myself really sympathetic with him in the last part of his life, where he in succession gets hit with the tape and the stuff where he's talking to Brooke Hogan that's on recording where he's saying racial slurs.
Yeah.
And it's not that I'm saying that's okay, but like, I know that if I had a
But your age makes you look at that differently. I'm telling you.
Yes.
The age of us, his generation, we look at that totally differently. And I've had to become okay with that. It's a total different, there's a grace that you're able to have because of your age, man.
But what I'm saying is, if there was a camera on me 24/7, you would catch me in moments that I'm not proud of, that I would openly tell you I said something wrong, I blew up, whatever.
But now you're talking about context, and that's gone.
Yeah, right. But that's my point. My point is when I watch it, I found myself feeling
we just have a soundbite, and that's all we know. And you just
sympathetic.
can't do it. You can't. We got a soundbite, but that's just a generation thing. And I'm not going to pick on them. I'm like, I get it.
So
I'm with you.
I didn't think that it was necessarily a puff piece. I did think there was other areas that the documentary could have dove into that it did not. But then you're also thinking, like, is this going to be an 8-part documentary if we're going into all these different nooks and crannies? Because it didn't even go into the Marvel lawsuit for the use of Hulk.
Yeah.
So, like, and I was more interested in that, and we didn't address it at all. So some of it is definitely relevant to his legacy, that it could have been maybe touched on a bit more, besides just like, oh, this audio recording came out and I didn't fire Hulk Hogan, I fired Terry Bollea.
I don't even know how you say that out loud and not laugh.
I openly laughed out loud when Triple H said it.
Yeah. I was like, boy, wrestling is a trip. It's just a trip.
The two glaring omissions, in my opinion, are both with the children. So Brooke not being in it at all, clearly being estranged, and anything about Nick, about what happened with him.
Yeah, there's nothing. They left all that out.
Which I could see where, that might have been a point of emphasis from his side to say, hey, I'm not going to talk about this at all. I'll do this, but I'm not talking about that. But to which I would say, well, Hulk, if you want people to know who you are, they got to know your kids. Because
we're watching that wife. We're watching the wife.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I'm here to say you can know a lot about the parents through the kids.
Yeah.
I think that's just true.
Absolutely.
True of children. So
yeah, but man, the wife was a lot.
she was.
She was a lot. She was a lot.
The structure, as I said, mirrors his life in the 4 chapters. You have the rise, you have Hulkamania, you have Hollywood Hogan in the NWO years, and then you have the last episode, which is Hulk versus Terry, where they kind of delve into his older self and him really kind of struggling with who he really is. And we're gonna walk his life, but the question underneath all of this is the one Hogan asks himself: who is this guy really? And that's kind of going to be the setup here. So. Director Brian Storkel, who's done a lot of the Untolds.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
Dude, this was... I'm
a fan.
We've done 2 wrestling documentaries now. This one and the Bray Wyatt one. And I thought they've both been great.
Yeah.
And both WWE produced.
Yeah.
I would have never thought that before I watched them. But I think these are... I actually think this one is genius, the way it's put together. I think it's that good. Interview subjects, you got Hogan himself, obviously. First wife, Linda Hogan. Third wife, Sky Daly. Second wife is... not mentioned. Son Nick Hogan's in a lot of it. Jimmy Hart.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got the mouth of the South.
The mouth of the South. And what appears to be Hulk's best friend. And wrestling people like the big ones are Bret Hart and Kevin Nash appear quite a bit.
Yeah.
Hacksaw for like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Hacksaw gets in it and cries at the end. And that was when I lost it, man.
Yeah, they
Sergeant Slaughter.
I can't watch Hacksaw cry. man.
yeah, that's tough.
Boy.
And I wish Iron Sheik was alive.
Oh, man, that would have been
Because
great.
him and Sheik, you talk about Iron Sheik's another one's kayfabe. Just committed to kayfabe.
Yep.
So part one, I'm just going to give little summaries, that like 20-second summaries of each part. Part one is like his rise. So you got the series. It opens up at his funeral. You see the casket. You see Flair and Dennis Rodman and a bunch of other luminaries. And then it jumps back to the beginning. And part one basically covers Terry Bollea growing up in Tampa with a demanding father that he pretty much spent his whole life trying to please and impress. And you watch his early wrestling days in Florida, then Minnesota and the AWA. You get the first Mean Gene sighting and Jesse Ventura talking about how the fans turned Hulk into a star, which I thought Jesse was going to be all butthurt at first. But then he kind of, as it goes on, he gets more complimentary of Hogan. But
Jesse does have some legit beef with Hogan for squashing the union effort, but
I thought at first he was going to try and deny what Hulk Hogan did for the industry, and he doesn't. He gets there.
Jesse's an honesty broker, I think.
Yeah. He's also struggles when he's not the most brilliant person in the room. That's just no doubt.
Yeah.
He doesn't become Jesse without that ego. That's where this becomes a difficult conversation. Same thing with Bret Hart. He doesn't become Bret Hart without the ego.
I love when Bret's on the screen.
Me too.
Dude,
Me too.
I don't know.
Me too.
I don't know what documentaries are on the list of ones they're going to make, but please
Keep Bret Hart coming.
Please
Keep him
forget
coming
it.
in.
Give me an
keep
entire
coming in.
documentary on Bret Hart, but don't even talk about the old days. Just put his old self. Put a camera in front of him. I just want bitter Bret Hart because I was laughing so much when he would talk.
Yes, it's good stuff.
But
Every time.
we get to see his rise, basically. And essentially, what I want to talk about in this first part is a great sequel, kind of sorts, to the Chevy Chase doc that we talked about. Because my question for this whole first episode was, what are we willing to sacrifice for fame?
I know y'all are tired of it. I know y'all are going to be tired of me. I know the listening audience is going to be tired of me. I will get hate mail. I get it. Every time I do a documentary, the last one we did, I asked, when did this drop? Because I didn't get any hate, Doc. I didn't get any hate email. I need to start forwarding that to you. But I always get stuff. Pastor DJ Dangerfield at Gmail. Hit me. I'm used to it. Okay. So I have to keep this context. I cannot have this conversation without this context. I cannot talk about wrestling ever without I refuse to.
Okay.
This comes from the carnival world. They are weirdos. This is where Cody struggles. This thing is popular, but they aren't pop culture. They don't have the same standards as us. This is a subculture group of people that keep being held accountable to this greater culture that they have never. Wrestling was never designed to fit in pop culture. And then Hulk Hogan comes and goes. And then the money comes and they go, okay, we're going to force this square peg. It does not fit. So I'm not going to have this conversation with all of this stuff that people are trying to make wrestling that it's not. I can't watch no more. I can't watch it no more because it's not meant to fit in. It is an outlier. It's carnivore. Y'all know carnies. We don't do carnivals no more. The people that are missing their teeth, they run the machine. You don't know if the machine works. Kayfabe is a term that comes from the carnival world, where you got this woman that looks like olive oil from Popeye, super skinny, and she lifts a 500-pound barbell, and she drops it, and it goes boom, boom, boom. And you got to try to figure out, is there a lever on there? Is it an illusion? And then all these strong men try to go lift it, and none of them can lift it. But this really skinny thing is lifting this weight. Is it real? Is it illusion? What are we looking at here? And we've got to understand in this conversation, Hogan is committed to that. That's the root of who he is I have to keep this illusion. And so even when he's answering questions in the documentary, some of this is sticking with the because we know that's not the first time he body slammed Andre the Giant.
Yeah. Well, I'm like, he's done it at least 3 or 4 times before this.
He's wrestled him hundreds of times before this in dark matches.
Yeah.
Okay. But this gave them a chance to, like we do with Spider-Man, like Marvel does, we're going to create a whole new arc. Wrestling does this all the time.
It was a lot easier back then.
Absolutely.
Especially before WrestleMania takes off.
Yeah.
After watching this, I decided that Hogan was the Constantine of wrestling.
That's a great analogy.
That for Christianity, like
that's a great analogy.
Constantine made it the official religion, made it safe, and made it global.
And what me and Cody talk about all the time, and you got Clayton, so my buddy Clayton, so we talk about this all the time. The question, the philosophical question is, was he good for Christianity? And you can actually debate the same thing with Hogan.
Yes.
Was this good for wrestling in general?
It's the best
long term
and worst case scenario.
Thank you. As long as you get that, I can have this conversation.
Yes.
That's it right there.
Because
that's it.
You compared it to a carnival. Like, this is wrestling.
No, I'm not comparing. That's where it comes from.
Right. No, that's what I mean. But like, this is literally taking place in like gymnasiums.
Yes.
Before Hogan.
Yes.
Then we're talking that was what I was trying to tell Cody, and I'm going to get to this question here in a little bit, but I still want to talk about the cost of his fame. So you mentioned himself, kayfabe, like Terry Bollea.
Yeah.
That's explored deeply in this thing.
Because Terry Bollea rolls around in a thong with his kids. I was so confused by this. I don't know if I can say it. You can edit that out. I'm just like, I don't understand what's going on.
That is absolutely worth bringing up.
That I was having so hard of a time watching this.
Some of those
home video.
videos,
I'm like, why are we watching this?
She's like, literally the kids are out. It's Christmas morning, and here comes Hulk Hogan
with no clothes on,
in like his underwear, but like we're talking like Speedos, man.
Yes. I'm like,
what's a choice?
Oh my goodness,
it has to be a choice. How do you just? I just grabbed some. I just grabbed some drawers out. I didn't know that was.
I think this is where the documentary is the most sad. When we're talking about like, oh yeah, Terry Bollea is just lost.
Oh yeah.
Hulk Hogan says at one point, he says, Terry Bollea was just a human being. But when I went in that ring, brother, I was Hulk Hogan. But then I don't think Terry Bollea ever came out.
The immortal Hulk Hogan to you, buddy.
Yeah, once he starts getting really big, and this will get me to like this place we're going to talk about in Hulk Hogan later, or in the Hulkamania part later. But Cody, the psychology of an identity that's built entirely on external validation. So you see it in this documentary a lot. He can't retire. He can't leave wrestling. He talks about it a lot and never does it. He always comes back because something happens to a person when the applause of the crowd is the only like reflection of yourself you have. What is that? How come we're so weak to just this validation, this external validation from people?
Oh, that's a much deeper question. But I mean, whenever you get, like for the typical person, when you get compliments at work or your spouse says something good about you, makes you feel good. If you are constantly getting fed that dopamine rush with thousands and thousands of people chanting your name and seeing the checks come in and buy all these boats and new fancy sports cars and all this stuff, that like you're constantly just feeding into that loop, and it's really hard to escape it. It becomes an addiction. I guess that is a blessing why I'm glad that we haven't taken off yet and become Joseph Rogan, because I might be the next Terry Bollea Hulk Hogan, that I'm just going to be Cody, the contrarian guy.
I'm going to be like, off the mic, we're going to be like, I'm Cody. Contrarian Cody is just a
So there'll be this awesome documentary about the rise of the pop culture pastor, and then you guys split. There's going to be a split between Dave, and Cody does his own thing. It's going to be like Skip. You're going to have this moment where you guys split, and we're going to all watch it like, man, Dave was good peoples, but he just got too famous.
Yep.
He just got too famous.
The rise and fall of pop culture pastor.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and to that, I think Ric Flair is going to be the next one that we're going to have this discussion about.
Easily.
They just eat themselves into this character, and they're always on. You understand with the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, they gave him a limousine, they bought him a house, they made him go home to a mansion every day because they didn't want any. They wanted people. It was a leased house that he had to live in, and he drove around in limos everywhere. And they let him take the company plane everywhere he went because they wanted. You can't have the $1 Million Man get on United Airlines flight.
Yeah, right.
Oh, the $1 Million Man flies Spirit. What's going on? You can't do that. Can't do that. So, how do you? If I'm walking like a millionaire, acting like a millionaire, talking to millionaires, hanging out with other millionaires, and they're giving me everything a millionaire's got, I'm eating off the menu what millionaires eat. How do I not become that?
Yeah, it's like method actors.
Yeah. Yeah, good call. Yeah.
Daniel Day-Lewis really was Abraham Lincoln.
Jared Leto
Is really Morbius. It's Morbin time.
So, of the things that he sacrifices for his fame, because we can all look at him and say, well, I mean, he had a pretty good life. He had all these things, but he sacrifices his body. He's the steroid use that fueled his physique.
All the surgeries.
I defy anyone who is an 80s kid, DJ, to watch him getting up from the weight machine there at the end, and he can barely stand up, and he's like barely moving.
Man, I was struggling.
That was hard to watch.
Yeah,
There's something devastating about watching someone who was so physically dominant.
I mean, that's called physical deterioration, right?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. So that he loses his family. Like, he's estranged from his daughter. His first wife divorces him. I don't even know what happened with his second wife, but clearly that didn't last either. And then, himself, which we kind of talked the last 10 minutes or so about. He loses himself. And I thought, even to the point where it was WrestleMania 3 or 4 where his parents come. And he's like playing the part. And I even thought, like, man, even his parents are being different people.
Yeah.
Like, they don't even know how to react to it.
Yeah.
And it was all
I
wild.
wouldn't know how to react to it. So
Episode 2 was all about Hulkamania. So this is like the 1980s at full volume, DJ.
Yeah.
It starts with Hogan beating the Iron Sheik for the title, runs through the peak of Hulkamania. You get WrestleMania 1. You get the body slam of Andre Giant, which apparently already happened, all the way through the main event against Macho Man Randy Savage at WrestleMania 5. Footage we've seen 100 times is all here, but they cut it against home videos of Terry at home with the kids, being a regular guy. And so this whole episode, you get this contrast between the icon and the dad is the whole kind of point of this part. Also to show you something, how big he was. Because I had kind of forgotten, I think, until I watched that episode. And I'd asked Cody this question after watching episode 2. I was like, is this the biggest wrestling ever was? Like, was wrestling never bigger than it was in the prime Hulkamania years in the 80s? Because they're performing in front of, like, it looked like Queen at Wembley.
Yeah, yeah. I think if you're going by sales and all that, then no,
they clearly make more money now.
And I'm talking about like nobody stole like Stone Cold sold.
I was going to say
Stone Cold.
Attitude Era.
The Attitude Era destroys everything later on. Also,
because you have the NWO at that same time.
That's right. Yeah.
But that's my point. The zeitgeist. They're splitting the zeitgeist with WCW and the NWO.
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan
had it all.
He's larger than life. He really is Superman.
Yeah. I'm with you. Even the wrestlers will say that Attitude Era time was the greatest time, but without Hogan,
like
you don't get nowhere near that without Hogan.
He's your launching off point.
Yeah, so it's like without Magic and Larry Bird, there's no Jordan.
Yeah,
that's
without
true.
Magic.
That's true.
The importance of Magic and Larry to the NBA at this same time. That's why I say people think I'm kidding. The 80s and 90s are the golden era of pop culture. I don't care if it's music, movies, wrestling. So he's riding this rainbow. He's riding this thing.
Why do you think that is?
Because this is my personal thing. Y'all can attack it. I never did a study on anything. I think technology-wise, it was a perfect time to be alive. We had just enough technology to enjoy some comfort and conveniences, but at the same time, like standing in line at Sam Goody, you can't beat it. I remember saying like Use Your Illusion 1 and 2, right? You have all these things that are happening that involve community, we had gatekeepers. Everybody would watch the Cosby Show on Thursday at 7 o'clock. You go to school the next day and talk about it, right? And so there was this time period in the 80s and 90s where we had just enough people controlling what we were getting that we all had to kind of watch the same thing, but there was still this cable. You still had you still had a lot of outlier stuff that you could watch. I mean, when you look at TBS at this time, when you compare WCW to WWE at this time, and they're literally wrestling at 6:05 on Saturdays, and there's like 35 people in the crowd, but Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes are getting it in.
Yeah.
Magnum TA, they are getting it in. Sting, they're the Four Horsemen. So you're looking at a total different, but at the same time, when you turn to TBS, the product is amazing. It's the Georgia Boys, right? And it's still got that territory feel to it, right? So it's like, I think it was just a golden era. If you're an independent artist back then, there was just something golden about it. Like, That's just the time period, man. I feel like the 60s and 70s were like Larry Bird and Magic, but I think the 80s and 90s are the best time period for pop culture. Think about this. Do y'all know what the number one magazine is in America right now?
Is there a magazine still?
Yep.
I'm going to say Sports Illustrated and no, it's wrong.
No, it can't
It's
be.
AARP.
That's
And
believable.
number 2 is Costco. Okay.
Yeah, Costco.
So it's like there was a time where magazines.
Oh, yeah.
WWE had a magazine. My mom
Oh, yeah.
got me for my birthday.
Dude, I spent all my time reading magazines.
Yes. So there was this way. Remember the Pop Teen magazine? Remember the teeny
Yep.
bit magazines?
Tiger
right?
Beat.
Tiger Beat and all that stuff. And you hang the posters on your wall from those magazines. That's gone.
Wrestling had those too.
Yes.
I hung all the posters.
That's right.
I can remember having, like, it's funny, we watched the movie with the family.
The Addams Family.
No, come on. The wrestling family, the movie.
You from Von Erichs?
The Von Erichs.
Oh,
yes.
I thought you were.
Cody, you are worthless. Gosh.
I thought you were talking about the one that was about Paige.
No,
or
no, no.
Saraya.
I had like the Von Erichs up on my wall.
Absolutely.
I hardly knew who they were.
Yeah, and that was because you had the Freebirds, you had the sport, you had the Freebirds, you had the Von Erichs, you had like Bruiser Brody. I mean, you had Kamala. I mean, you had a list of names there.
George the Animal Steel.
Yes, George Adams still spinning there. That's where Jim Cornette comes out of that. Your boy that you just named, the vice president guy, he comes out of
Pritchard,
that.
yeah.
Pritchard, Percy Pringle comes out of that. That's the guy that leads under. The Undertaker
Undertaker
starts there in the
Yes.
Sportatorium. I mean, you're looking at that was like one of the places that everything begins. So I just feel like that Hogan time, he came at the right time.
Yeah.
And then Vince McMahon's vision for doing something that's Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It all came at the right time.
Let's shift into the last part of this conversation
Yeah.
about this particular episode and the Hulkamania. What made Hulkamania so big? Do you think it was the fact that the audience was younger and more sincere and less aware of the kayfabe aspect
Absolutely.
of it now?
Believability.
Because now the internet kind of makes that pure, uncynical fandom. Does it make it impossible?
It was believable. That's
Because
exactly
we believed
right.
it. When we were
Yeah,
kids,
absolutely.
we believed it was real.
So
It was believable.
Bill Simmons tells this story about how he learned wrestling wasn't really real. That Iron Sheik and Hacksaw Jim
They got
Duggan-
arrested for marijuana.
Yes.
Same thing happened to me. Well, that is crazy. I was going to say that.
Yeah, that's when he
Just to
knew.
be clear, not to be getting arrested, the finding out it was fake.
Yeah, I didn't get arrested. Well, I may have got arrested back in the day, but I didn't get arrested.
He wasn't hanging out with Iron Sheik.
Yeah, it was, and they're all in the car together.
Yes.
And the newspaper article comes out. These are guys that hate each other.
Yeah.
And then they come out on live TV and say they were all together and got arrested together. I remember looking at my stepdad going, he's like, son, they're playing a part. I was crushed.
I cried when I found out it was fake.
I mean, literally, Hacksaw's waving around an American flag,
Yes.
and we're being
yes. And here
derogatory towards Sheiky all the time.
Yes.
So-
You're with the Russian and the guy from Iran? What are you doing? It's
Yeah.
America.
So it's just impossible now to have this, which was what makes episode 3 so kind of brilliant, because episode 3 is all about the heel turn. Hollywood Hulk Hogan. There's Hogan. First, it was
so beautiful.
It starts off with Hogan
yeah.
in the movies where he takes the step away for a little while. There's actually this. They interview Christopher Lloyd, actor Christopher Lloyd. And that was actually kind of sweet. Where Christopher Lloyd talks about how friendly and nice he was, but he's out of place. Like you could tell his heart was never in the acting. He just wanted to get back to wrestling. But then he comes back to WCW.
And he threatens to retire quite a bit in the
Yeah.
early part of this.
Yeah, because he's
episode.
still in the red and yellow, and then they have this idea where
But
he reinvents himself. He becomes the heel,
And they're not, he's not, the whole room is not going crazy anymore. There are bits of
Yeah.
people getting tired. We've seen you tear your shirt. We've seen you go with your ear thing. And you can see
But-
there's this.
A big leg drop all the time.
but the internet's a thing by this time, and so what's left? Subversion. You subvert it. You heel turn. That's literally the play.
Yeah, that I didn't see. I did not see that coming though.
No, nobody did.
Yeah.
But now, looking back now, it's like
Yeah.
it's so obvious.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Because now wrestling's tried it so many times.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But back
I
then,
keep waiting for Cody Rhodes to turn heel. That's the only way I'll enjoy him.
It was so novel.
Hey man,
it was so novel.
I can agree with that.
So yeah, were you in WCW watcher?
Oh yes. Okay. So around this time,
yeah, where were you at in life at this time?
Okay, so I'm in grade school, early grade school, but my dad watches both programs. Mm-hmm. So watching Monday Night Raw, watching WCW Nitro, but Raw starts to get too edgy, and Leanne, my mom, has beef with some of the things that I am watching, especially after I do the DX move towards another kid.
How many kids got suspended?
Stick around a couple years. Don't let Leanne see Major Guns in WCW.
Yeah.
Look out.
But so like we were really a huge WCW family. And so like the NWO was my jam, and also Sting after he becomes the Crow Sting. Yeah. But I did like Surfer Sting. He was really fun. Yeah. But yeah, Crow Sting, epic.
Yeah. What about you, DJ?
I was with you. We was in college together. I don't know how me and Dave did not know each other in college. It's so stupid. That was a God thing, though. We probably never would have got saved. That was a God thing.
Sad but true.
And it was epic. I was in college, and it was epic.
I was taping every Monday Nitro.
We were stopping what we were doing. And then you find out that Kevin Nash says that they were listening to Ice Cube and these different wrestlers. I mean, these different rappers. And that's where they got that the NWO is just too sweet. They got that from Mac 10 and those guys in the Lynch Mob.
Yeah.
And so it's like, wow, it worked. They actually marketed us and they got us. That hip hop generation, because everything about it. The question that Scott Hall would go, "Did you guys come here to see WCW?" Remember that? He'd go in the ring and he'd go, "Did you guys come to see WCW, or did you come to see the?" And then everybody were.
Yep.
And so Hogan grabbed the whole thing when he went down the ring with the Macho Man, and they've had this Macho Man versus Hogan thing for a long time, right? And now here he is, Elizabeth. In the 80s, same thing. Macho Man's getting beat up by the Giant. Elizabeth runs back there and gets Hogan, but Hogan helps him. So it looks exactly like this thing that we've already seen before. There's not even a pop when he comes out.
The wrestling, there was a guy that they interviewed, and I don't remember his name, but he was in the whole documentary. Yeah. He's like a super wrestling fan.
Yeah.
He's an analyst.
Yeah.
And he says, "Oh, here comes Hogan.
Yeah, here he goes.
He's going to take all the glory right at the end, just like he did to Bret Hart.
Like he does every time."
And then that's what makes it all the subversion so great, because nobody imagined Hulk Hogan, of all people, would do the heel turn.
And then he grabs the mic.
Yeah.
And hits that, blasts the audience.
Do you know what was awesome about that?
What?
Is it was all true.
Absolutely.
That was not kayfabe.
He was
railing
total,
on him.
That was the total. That's the first time we ever seen him tell the truth. I don't like you guys. You guys have been riding my coattails. He said something about the guys in back when you guys out there bumming rides, and it's like you guys were eating tuna bumming rides, and he's like, and I've had enough. I'm done. I was like, oh, that's real.
But when he turns on the fans and says, "You wouldn't be here if it wasn't for me."
Absolutely, yeah.
And I get no reception when I come out.
Oh, yeah, that was real.
Yeah, he just starts yelling at him. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But that was when, and the people are throwing
trash,
stuff. Mean Gene gets busted open.
So
crazy.
good.
Don't throw things at Mean Gene.
Really.
And he grabs Mean Gene's mic like 12 times. He's like, keep the mic here. Keep the mic. He's making Mean Gene keep that. I said, oh, this is so good.
The first part of the part 3, the NWO part, super nostalgia vibes. And it's such an interesting time for wrestling itself. But then in the second part, we get into the whole steroid thing. He goes on to Arsenio
steroids?
Hall. Right. He goes on Arsenio Hall in 1991 after all of this starts coming out, and he's starting to get busted. And he actually makes a good point. It's because of who he is and the kayfabe that it hits him so hard. Because if he's just a random wrestler doing steroids, if he's Jake the Snake Roberts, nobody cares.
Yeah.
It's because Hulk Hogan is all take your vitamins. Yeah. And he sells nutritional supplements. He literally has his own brand of vitamins. And so when he goes on Arsenio, after everyone knows it, and he denies it, he lies straight to his friend. He calls Arsenio his friend. So I'm like, here's my question. Why does he lie? It would have gone so much better for him if he just says, yeah.
Vince claims
I
he
did
told him
it.
to tell the truth in the Vince McMahon documentary,
Yep.
which is just like Star Wars. I encourage you to watch this with The Mandalorian. No, it's like you got to watch the Vince McMahon documentary kind of with this. And Vince McMahon says, I told him to tell the truth. The truth is, he said, Vince McMahon, and I quote, the truth is so much easier.
But I think it was.
Of all people to
right.
say.
But he's actually right.
Yes, he is.
In that scenario,
Yeah.
it would have all went away so quickly.
Yeah.
Because, yes, of course they were on steroids. They're huge.
But at this point, Vince McMahon's in a different headspace. He's seeing World Wrestling Entertainment. He wants to head to this place where we get away from this. He wants people to see it as entertainment. He's ready to get rid of kayfabe at this point in that regard.
Yes.
Where people are thinking that this is not. Some of that stuff he wants to kind of keep. But he's to the point now where he's like, I'm ready to kind of start going, hey, we're entertainers.
And it's wild because by this time, Hogan has already seriously talking about retirement.
Yeah.
For a long time.
Yeah.
So it's like he's protecting a career that he was actively talking about retiring from. He just can't bring himself to do it. And so.
But at the same time, I think we're in denial.
Yeah.
As the kids who drink the Kool-Aid. And Cody's saying, this guy is telling us who he is. He lied because it's possible. Maybe he's a liar. And that's something that's the water fountain that we don't want to drink from. Like, why do you do that? Well, the reality is he's not the dude that he portrayed. He's actually, I'll say this lovingly, I know he's passed, but a bad person in quotation marks. And that's the fountain that you guys drink from him. Go, this guy's not. I don't see why you guys won't just drink and just go, hey, he's not the good dude you guys are.
There's a point where the kayfabe is so thick.
Yes, sir.
There's a point where he gets injured with the NWO years.
Yeah.
And you remember what he does. He runs for president.
Yes.
And he
I was at that. That was in Wichita. I was there when he announced it.
Listen, I was there. As a young man watching this, we all knew that was.
Why would you do that in Wichita, Kansas on a Monday night? I don't know, but he did. He announced it in Wichita, Kansas.
It's just a part of the wrestling story. In this documentary, he says, "Oh no, I thought it was real." Hogan thought he was really running for president. Like, whoa, dude.
Yeah, well,
Do you think he just said it? Or do you think he really believed
I
it?
think he just said it.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe very little that comes out of his mouth. That's the standard practice for me.
Yeah.
I have to have several people verify it before I go.
So let's talk about this then, because there is delusion here, and it does connect to the current president. Because, as I said earlier, I think Donald Trump, what a lot of people don't get about him is he's an entertainer. He's from the same cloth as Hulk Hogan, and what I want to say is
both of them are WWE Hall of Famers.
That's true.
Well, because President Trump's business, his brand, makes money. He's in the bed with him. He has to. That early years when they were going to Trump's Coliseum, what is it? It was the Trump Towers, I think it was called. When they were going to Trump's place in New Jersey, because wrestling does have to report to like fighting sanctions. You got to report to the New Jersey sanction. And so Trump has all the facilities that passes those tests. And so the WWE has to do everything through all of his stuff. Same situation Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson and Trump are really good friends. And they kind of had to be because they both are scratching each other's back because I'm doing all my fights in Trump's facilities. And so Mike Tyson and President Trump are tight.
So this is going to be a two-part question that intersects with the last presidential election. When does belief in your own character become this delusion like Hulk Hogan has? And I think you could say maybe President Trump, because Trump will admit he's not a politician. He'll admit that. He'll say he's an entertainer. But what does it say about us as people that we reward it? That we reward the delusion of people who don't know what they actually are. Like Trump could get up on stage tomorrow and say he's a zookeeper, and half this country would be like, "Well, he does have some experience, Dave." And I'm just like, "But no."
Best zookeeper I've ever seen.
And like, look, I don't really care about politics, but what my point is there are things about certain people like Trump, like Hulk Hogan in his heyday, where they could get up and say just about anything, and half the people in the room are just going to believe them. And we're going to reward it. We're going to keep being the fandom behind him.
So when I read The Art of the Deal, and I just wanted to see what it was that he was thinking, he tells you in his own words Like, he tells you everything. If y'all read that, and it's an easy read, it's like 100 pages. He lays out for you, I mean, simplistically, the whole deal. He was able to take, because you got Hilton, you got the Mara. These are real names.
Yeah.
Trump's not the first person to put his name on the building. We just don't think in them terms because those people put their name and let their business do the talking.
The brand speaks.
Trump is right there next to his picture, right? Yeah. That has always been his thing. He wanted to be the most powerful, famous person ever lived, and he doesn't care about the means to that. And he admits it. If you read I'm not saying this from a woke standpoint or a liberal standpoint. I'm talking about what he says in his book.
Yeah.
And then when I read the book, I went, oh. So yeah, all throughout the book, he talks about leveraging, knowing your market. Hogan's the same way. Think about what Hogan says. When he fought The Rock, he said, I listened to the crowd. We had to flip it because in wrestling, you're listening to the crowd. What do the people want? President Trump is the same way.
Yeah.
He understands that you have to, I was just talking to a guy a couple days ago, it's like he's an excellent listener, believe it or not. He does a lot of talking, but he knows what people want to hear. And in wrestling's a lot like that. You're listening to the crowd. Now they got these script writers, and you're not smart enough to go, hey, it's not good optics to send Hogan out there in California. He's not going to do well in California. He might do well in Texas. If it was Dallas, maybe a different reception, right? Maybe a different reception if it's Dallas, right? Anybody in their right mind would know you don't send Hogan out there in California, and he's been on 32 podcasts saying he's voting for President Trump. You're just not going to do that at that time period where everybody was like, about the elections, right? So with these new script writers, what they don't understand is the crowd that's in front of you is most important. That's why you see all those, when President Trump, that's why you see all those quotes, because he's going to hang red meat. That's how you're using leverage to get what you really want.
Yeah.
He says the worst thing you can possibly do in a deal is seem desperate. You're constantly looking for leverage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he shows up. I'm not desperate. This is going to happen. I think we're doing good right now. You hear all those quotes. He's doing what he says. He's always done this. Hogan is the same way.
Yes. Well, you just answered the question of why he's rolling around in his underwear in home videos at home with his kids, because he can't even stop playing the part anymore because he's got to appear to be Hulk Hogan, larger than life, confidence, American hero. Because that's it. And I referenced this earlier, but that whole phone message from Trump after the convention, I was like, these two dudes are the same person because Trump is talking about entertainment. He's not talking about a political convention. He was saying, hey, man, you really did it right. You're the best. You're the best entertainer out there.
And they both had the same dad.
Yeah.
And that's in the art of the deal. Again, he talks about Fred Trump. And there was some type of disconnect in the nurturing that he didn't get.
Yeah.
Same thing. And then you talk about Hogan with his brother dying. So same kind of thing going on. And for me, you become so completely sold out to the assignment. As a pastor, I've been interviewing people who've been married 35 years or more. And when I ask them how they met, they light up. I haven't met a couple yet, from the good old boy to the good old boy, the least most demonstrative people I've ever met. When I ask these people who've been married over 30 years, how long they've been married, I'm going somewhere with this, they light up. Hulk Hogan lit up about nothing but wrestling.
Yeah.
When they asked him a pure wrestling question, family, ex-wives, whatever, it's just like, well, it just didn't. But when we got to wrestling, oh, brother, let me tell you, brother. Let me tell you something, brother.
This is a good segue into part 4. If we got to talk about the last part so we can get out of here. But part 4, Hulk versus Terry, this is where it starts to get kind of uncomfortable. You see kind of the chaos of the Hogan Knows Best reality show. Then the heartbreaking divorce from Linda, where he kind of gets the worst end of that. Like, he gets put through the ringer. Then the doc gets to the racism scandal that tarnished his legacy. And you also get to see a little bit of Hogan after his remarriage, going to church. He has these like meetings with near the end with people with special needs, and he's making them feel seen. And weirdly, I think part 4 holds some of the worst of him and some of the genuinely good best of him parts. Like, you get to see both of them right near the end, and it lets you sit with both, which I think is great. I love documentaries that don't try to answer the question for
Or tell you how to feel.
Yeah,
I
they,
get that.
they really try to balance it with the good and the bad. But it starts off with this crazy cameo. It's like a cameo because you wouldn't expect to see this dude here. Werner Herzog
Yeah, that was bananas.
starts off, he's like a voiceover, and then you see him and you're like, what in the world? This is the Hulk Hogan doc.
Why are you here, buddy?
He just starts talking. He says, we all live in manufactured realities. We all follow some sort of script. All of us, in a way, have a performative life. It would be interesting to look into the real Hulk Hogan if he still exists. We have to know, is there something true about it? Something authentic? And then they were like, do you even know his real name? And he's like, it's not Hulk Hogan. And he was like, no, I don't want to know his real name. Werner Herzog's like, I don't want to know his real name. He's Hulk Hogan.
We don't want to know anybody's real name. I just asked some kids, what's Will Smith's real name? They all said William. I'm like, no, it's Willard. And they're like, what? They were freaking out. They got their phones out, started fact checking me. I'm like, his name is Willard. Yeah, we desperately need this fake person up front. There's something about these fake characters that we desperately need because reality we can't take.
But do you agree with Werner Herzog? Are we all guilty of kayfabe?
Yes.
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely. That's every documentary arrived at the same spot. Like we're Hulk Hogan.
So
It's like we're Hulk Hogan.
I mean, think about just professional etiquette, like as pastors. There's things that you think and things you want to say that you don't do in front of people, even though you have it.
I gotta learn that. I gotta learn that. I gotta learn that. That's what I gotta learn.
You have it.
You just got no filter.
But I mean, like, no, we are constantly putting on a facade. And it, like, sometimes it's a very thin one. And then other times it's like, who is this person? Because, like, no one that really knows you would recognize that person.
Well, Dave, me and Dave, when we did that documentary, and I talked about my concern for pastors. Mm-hmm. Remember that?
Yep.
And the response from pastors, there were some guys that were mad.
Yep.
Remember that, Dave?
Oh, yeah. That was
Now the
I don't even-
sociologist and the psychiatrist, the African American woman who listens, she does counseling or something. She was like, I want to flesh this out more with you. She was receiving it, but most of my pastor friends who heard that podcast were like, I need to talk to you. Some of them met with me.
Dude, that was the very first documentary we did on this podcast. It was the Miss Cleo documentary.
Yes.
Hey, I was there.
And you went into this whole section about pastors and kayfabe and all this.
Yeah, that's right.
And like that was the part that got the most reaction out of anybody.
Absolutely.
I had people coming up to me like, who's this DJ guy? I want to talk to him.
Yeah. And then people are like thinking like I was saying it for myself. I'm concerned about pastors and this kayfabe.
Yeah.
Like we have the perfect family. We have this. We have that. We have this. I will respect my family and say, okay, the cameras are on. But I just stood in front of my church 2 weeks ago, turned the cameras off. I got two personal things I got to share with you guys in front of my entire. If I can't do it, I got to put myself out there, vote me out, dismantle me, tell me I can't be your pastor. But I am not going to pretend like I'm okay and I'm not okay. And this idea that I have to kayfabe this thing and put up this persona, like me and my wife are holding hands.
Yeah.
It's dangerous, bro.
It's very dangerous.
It's dangerous, bro.
You lose yourself like Hogan.
Absolutely.
You don't know what's real anymore.
Absolutely. For the sake of the system or the institute, it's just not healthy. Maybe some of these churches need to get smaller. Maybe big church isn't the goal anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe 700 people, 1,000 people isn't the goal anymore. If it's going to make you have to pretend to be somebody that you're absolutely not.
Then there's too many news articles and posts about mega church pastors and mega churches protecting themselves, and then you have these huge fallouts, kind of like Hogan.
Yeah. Videotapes and recordings. You're like, what did he say?
And then Triple H says, I didn't fire Hulk Hogan. I fired Terry Bollea.
I didn't fire Hogan. I fired Mark Driscoll. You know, it's like, what do you do?
Yeah.
It's like, what do you do? It's like when you listen to the stories, you're like, what is going on? So I think for all of us, it's a chance for us to ask ourselves, when does adapting to my surroundings become compromise? When does adapting become this sense of you're being contrite. You're like being the total opposite of who you are in your heart. And I think we got to start asking ourselves that from our social media post. And the danger of me, like for me, I think about this all the time. I literally just was going to Lubbock, Texas, preaching at a church. I was running late. I didn't leave till late. And so I got to get there. I'm going to get there at 2 o'clock in the morning and I blow my tire. So I got this dilemma. I end up, the highway was 85 miles per hour. So I was like, I'm not going to try to do this on the side of the road. I'm going to call a professional. So I called roadside assistance and then I got State Farm. So I talked to Jennifer. And so I'm just trying to post something for good news sake, right? So I just tell this story about this good thing that happened, how good it was. And thank God for State Farm. Thank you, Jake from State Farm. You guys are awesome. That's all it was really about. I was just like, hey, this would be a cool post to say, hey, good news. A lady goes, she used the hard R on me.
I saw that.
What are you, a hard
Yeah.
R? You can't change your own tire? And it was like, my daughter called me. She was upset. She was like going off. And it's just like, honey, it's okay. I can't post a real thing. That's why pastors don't do it. Because if I be my real self, you're going to use it against me. But for me, I'd rather deal with a person using the hard R and calling me that. Wow, that's more about her character than mine. I'd rather risk being real and open and vulnerable with my congregation and deal with them using against me than me becoming somebody that I don't want to be.
Mm-hmm. Last thought, because I think they introduced it in this. How much comparing it to the church, how much do the people in the church bear this responsibility of demanding this from their pastor? Like yes, there's a component of it where the pastor goes that direction because of the kayfabe and the enjoying of the heads nodding and the
amen
and the applause. But at what point does the congregation become share in that responsibility too? Because they demand Hulk Hogan. They don't want Terry Bollea. They want Hulk Hogan. And what you're talking about is the same thing. It's like a pastor in that situation, it can be dangerous.
I think that you should not expect it. The church's history has been, you can't expect this of church people, but you definitely try to create ministries that teach and help and equip people. You should talk about vulnerability. You should talk about things like honesty and sincerity and having an environment for people where it's okay to get it wrong.
Yeah.
Like church is one of the few places, and I think wrestling and entertainment's another one where you better not get it wrong.
So, because this will tie into it, but what was your opinion of Triple H's quotes throughout, especially episodes 3 and 4?
I mean,
it's going someplace. I promise.
I mean, I thought he was mostly right on with the things he was saying. I agreed with a lot of it until the end, until the part with the whole Netflix premiere. Because I wrote down in my notes, do you think he wanted him to get humiliated? Because he admits saying that it wasn't going to go well. But Hulk didn't know that. Hulk didn't realize it. He thought he was going to go out there to all the applause right after the Republican convention. Do you think he's being duplicitous?
I've already talked too much. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go, where are you going, Cody?
So,
where are you going with it? Then we'll move on.
I was going to say, the thing is a lot of us don't like the cold hard facts. Because honestly, at times, the way Triple H talked, or Paul Levesque, is that, he's very cold.
Yes.
It's just blunt. I knew there was a good chance this would happen when referring to the California situation. He's been around the business long enough that he knows all these things, but like, does anyone really want to hear it?
No.
So with Ric Flair, his son that died, Triple H was the one that was like, hey, Rick, he failed the drug test.
Yeah.
We got to let him go.
Yeah.
And
he needs help.
Yep. And Rick did not want to hear that.
No.
So, like, thing is, when we are authentic and it might not be polished, oftentimes we don't want it, even though that's what we need.
Yeah. Hogan says something after the whole racial slur thing comes out. And he says he's kind of pushing away. He's trying to avoid responsibility away. But he does say, yeah, I regret it. But then he turns it. He says, because even under that heavy, crazy fire, I should have remained still and kept my mouth shut. Where he's kind of using like, well, it's because of who I am. It's because I'm Hulk Hogan. But then he says something really, really interesting. but what I said resonates and has an echo effect, and it keeps vibrating for years. Now, he mistakenly believes that's because he's Hulk Hogan. But I think he actually stumbles upon a real truth. We live in a culture where the average person thinks, oh, my choices are just about me. The culture's trying to fool us. But actually what Hulk Hogan experiences is like, no, every choice you make has ripple effects and changes the world around you. Now, some people have an amplifier attached to it, like Hulk Hogan, but he actually does prove something that all of us need to know, is that the choices we make do have an effect. They do have an effect on people. You see it in the documentary.
I think once you find out the recipe that gets people to cheer for you after you become addicted for being cheered for. I'll give you a great example. The Trayvon Martin, George Zimmerman, people don't know, but 2 weeks before he killed that young man, he was the only person to show up to an NAACP rally in that community, and they even gave him the mic, and there's video footage of him speaking at it, okay? That people don't realize that. People don't realize that this man, 2 weeks before he killed that kid, he was the only person in that community, no black people, I'll pause for that, came to that meeting. The only one was George Zimmerman. And I just think people think you can take a snapshot of somebody's bad decision in a moment, and then the person goes kayfabe, like Zimmerman, and they start going, well, this is where my money's coming from. This is where my plaza's going from. These are the only people that are going to support me. Or are these people over here that are okay with me killing this kid? So I'm going to go all in with them, and I'm going to sell to them, and I'm going to. But that's not really who he is. It's a total fake. You can actually stand up in front of people, and even in a moment of hate or in a moment of anger, say some things that don't really embody who you really are. That's actually a possibility. And now we live in a day and age where that's not true. People are super complicated, and then they participate in this thing that says, whoever's cheering for me, I'm going to hang, I call it, that's my analogy, I'm going to hang red meat. Every time I preach, I'm going to tell them, instead of being the cold, hard truth, instead of being Triple H going, here's the truth. Sometimes we're the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is where I want to leave us on this documentary, because we've run pretty long here, but
We have. Man. I just feel like we just got started. I feel like we was in a Joe Rogan moment here.
there's a part,
Exactly.
there's a part near the end of the doc where he has this meet and greet, and all the people that are meeting with him seem to be mostly special needs people. And there's this whole sequence with all these people and the reaction he gets from them. Like, and he's having like real interaction with them. Like,
Yeah.
you can tell when someone's being present with you. There's been a whole uproar this past week or two about Nick Cage being at Indiana Comic-Con and how he was kind of not like, there's
No.
like, nobody could touch him.
Don't you dare.
Yeah, no, there will be no Nick Cage slander on this podcast ever. But I'm just saying, you can tell when the celebrity, like Hulk Hogan, he was real.
Yeah.
He was really in it with these people. And we see lots of clips with him like that. And what I want to say is, here are these people with special needs. He's making them feel seen. And for some of those people, that's a huge moment in their life. Like, don't make that smaller than it is. For some of those people he was talking to that day, that's like the big moment of their lives, DJ.
And I'm just telling you, we got to let it go with these celebrities. They're not who we think they are.
Right. But that's what I want to leave us with. Is legacy measured in the sum of our choices, like the totality of our lives? Or is there room for talking about the moments? Because there's moments where Hulk Hogan is a great human being. And then there's moments where he's not.
Well, aren't we seeing that with Michael Jackson right now? Like, everybody went out and watched that movie, and it's like,
Yeah.
wait a minute.
Why do we gravitate to the extremes? Why
Wait
do we
a
want
minute.
it to be extremes instead of because I think it's because we don't want to see ourselves as human.
Yeah.
We want to see ourselves as good people. So everyone else has to be extremely good or extremely bad.
I think that we still struggle with, especially with artists and performers and entertainers. They provided some joy. They provided something that we grasped onto. And if we denounce them completely, then like we have to throw away that piece. So like with Hulk Hogan, have to throw away our childhood and taking vitamins and saying our prayers.
Don't say it.
But
That's the cold hard truth, right?
it is. But with like what Dave's saying, that there's more nuance to it, that like, he wasn't inherently evil, going out taking candy from kids and like cussing everyone out. But no, he has moments of good and moments of bad.
I know we got to go, Dave. I'm only on here once about 3 or 4 or 5 months, so you guys can go back to normal. I just have one question. Who's your person now that it comes out that they did something terrible that it'll make you go, I can't. Who have you heard, if they came out now that they had this terrible...
Okay.
Who's your person
I know,
now?
I know exactly who it is.
Who?
Listen, if someone does some retrospective and we find out Mr. Rogers was guilty of some evil thing, I'm just done.
Yeah,
Take me now, Jesus. I'm done. I'm done.
That's a good one.
Because
is there anybody current that you feel that way about?
He's the only one left.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, that's true. After Bill Cosby, it's like, it's over. It's over. Is there anybody currently,
yes.
though? Who, Cody?
For a while, it was LeBron, but there's enough rumblings around him that I'm like...
What's the rumblings for LeBron? I've never heard anything.
Like, it's nothing like super serious out and about yet, but people just say, there will be a day that we'll talk about LeBron truthfully.
Oh,
and I'm like...
Don't tell me that, Cody.
So I can't...
Don't tell me that.
Like, put all my eggs in that basket.
Okay.
But Patrick Mahomes, if something ever comes out about my friend Patrick... I might be like, I don't know. I'm just done with sports.
Taylor Swift. I think for a lot of people it might be Taylor Swift.
I think that there's
she does come across like I'm for the you know what I'm saying? She does come across like Cersei on Game of Thrones. No, the daughter of the Marjorie girl. She does come across like I'm here for the people.
But there's a large section of people in this country who's putting her up for sainthood.
Well,
like she's
that's
a
what I'm saying. But she comes across like she cares.
I do think that there's already enough baggage out with Taylor that like
you'd say some people like we're not surprised.
Yes, okay. And that for the diehards, they're like, well, she really is a victim of stardom.
Yeah. That
we wouldn't be doing these things if she was just your regular Joe Schmo.
Yeah, mine would be Doug Hetty. If I ever hear that Doug Hetty did something, I'm done. If
Meteorologist Doug Hetty.
If Doug is not what we are getting for real, I'm done with. That's my dude.
No, meteorologist Doug Hetty's the real deal, man.
If he's the real, if as long as Doug Hetty stays the real deal, I'll make it.
Yeah. Hey, we've talked about a lot of things.
Yeah, sorry.
When it comes to Hulk Hogan, listeners, what do you think? This is the question I want to leave with you. Is our legacy the sum of our choices spread out across our whole lives? Or is it how we made people feel in specific moments? Is it a strange combination of both? And is the equation different for all of us? Because Hogan's choices did echo for years, and some of them are pretty ugly, but he also made a room full of people at times feel really seen that was a really big deal to them. Mm-hmm. So how do you balance that? That's what I want to know. Mm-hmm. I would love to hear your opinions. Let us know on the post for the social media post for this episode. And I know these episodes are weird. We're just having these free-flowing conversations, but go watch the Hulk Hogan doc if you were into wrestling at all in the past.
Pastor DJ Dangerfield at gmail.com. Gosh.
Send it to him.
I'm going to start forwarding this stuff to you, Dave.
We'll see you next time. Okay, Kiefer, I was aware that you had some thoughts about the Hulk Hogan documentary, but since you don't get to be on that show, I thought I would let you open the floor and let you talk about Hulk Hogan, the Hulk Hogan doc that we're reviewing next week.
Yeah, so I appreciate it. The doc was very cool. I think one of the things that really speaks deeply to me is that very clearly in the doc, 9 out of 10 times, the person that is Hulk Hogan, so Terry Bollea, I don't think Terry really knew where Terry Bollea ended and Hulk Hogan began. And I think that that's a thing that exists for like 20 to 30 plus years, which means it gets a little bit problematic, more so than the reasons you would think Hulk Hogan might have some problematic views. And it's this sense that what Hulk Hogan became over the course of his most successful WCW, WWE, WWF years and New Japan Pro Wrestling was he became really the face of a lot of storyline potential that probably worked in the 80s and 90s. You know, I can't speak to that because I'm only 35. but also just like hasn't necessarily aged well, and definitely isn't a thing that's very normative to today's wrestling landscape. And that's the idea of the patriotic face and the foreign heel. And so I think he speaks about wrestling the Sheik for the first time in the documentary, where he's like, let me tell you something, brothers. I was reading the geopolitical landscape at the time, and America just like wasn't really jiving with all those countries over there. And so I wanted to be the American heel, and we're going to do good business with the Sheik, and people are going to buy all the tickets and want to see the good guys beat the bad guys. And that worked. It was a great storytelling device, and it's a classic storytelling device. And I think that international wrestling companies also probably have that situation where there's always a foreign heel that comes in and does some work. However, if you look at Terry Bollea / Hulk Hogan's trajectory of life, it eventually becomes kind of bad, because you have this sense that, you know, he's waving the American flag around. He's always associating the American flag with like beating up foreigners. And that sometimes becomes a not great parallel with American foreign policy at the time over the course of history. But then it especially becomes a not great parallel when Hogan, you know, gets caught on a hot mic saying a lot of racist things. And then also when Hogan makes any kind of political endorsements. Because I think what you find is that when you go out of the realm of kayfabe and fictional storytelling and like whatever's happening in the fictional realm of wrestling, and you basically take a very alike character, like Hulk Hogan endorsing Donald Trump, Hulk Hogan endorsing any kind of politician, saying, let me tell you something, brother, and ripping his shirt open, that's always going to imbue echoing of what happened in the ring within kayfabe. And so when we know within kayfabe that Hulk Hogan is always playing up those foreign heel stereotypes in order to beat those foreign heels, he's always associating America with that kind of violence and being that, like, I have to defend this country against my foreign opponents at all costs. And then he's on a hot mic saying some racist things and stuff like that. It just ties the politics of it all together in a really unfortunate way, because, you know, I'm glad that the way that they book wrestling today, the concept of like there are heels that are not from America, but they don't base their entire like mentalities on like hating America or like any country. And so it's good that it doesn't become like jingoistic like it did back in the 80s and 90s and even early 2000s. But it's just not a great look, because Hulk Hogan really was his character all the time.
Yeah, because I would say Terry Bollea, the man, he gets stuck.
Yeah.
He's that dude in the 80s, and he doesn't even understand. Like, he doesn't understand a bunch of things at the end. By the end of the doc, he doesn't understand that Trump was using him.
Yep.
He doesn't understand exactly the things you said, that this is actually way more complex than you're giving it credit for, because he's stuck in an era where running out the Bolsheviks as bad guys and calling a guy the Iron Sheik who was not actually, you know, that guy is not going to be good for the long run. And I totally support this idea of, as being someone who's not political at all, we've got to get out of this frame of reference as good guys and bad guys. All through history, you can see this is where history gets warped. Cowboys and Indians.
Yep.
Well, it's good guys and bad guys. You know, up until, you know, 10 years ago, we've got this whole Hollywood genre that's devoted to cowboys being the good guys and Indians being the bad guys. You flip to today where we realize that, and now the answer is, well, cowboys were the bad guys and Indians were the good guys. Well, you're still missing something here. We're human. And human, the brokenness just cuts right down the middle of all of us. And until we can get to that point, we can't, to go back to this movie that we just reviewed, Disclosure Day, we can't be empathic. As long as we got this false dichotomy of good guys and bad guys. And it's not saying that there aren't people who do evil things in the world. There clearly are. But you're never going to understand them completely until you can remove that for just enough time to say, how did someone get this way? Because then I'm saying, how do I not get this way? And that's the important part, the part where we say, whatever happened to them, I don't want that to happen to me or my children. So how do we combat this? So I think I want to end this by saying there's something important here that you should know about Kiefer and about me. Kiefer has a liberal worldview. And I don't say that in any way that you might have heard that, listener. Like, oh, is this good or bad? Nope, forget it. This isn't about good and bad. But he has a liberal worldview. I am probably moderately conservative. I have a conservative worldview. But the point is, what Kiefer just said is absolutely true. There are things in that are things we should be paying attention to. And I can do that and say, every worldview has something to it. We need to put it together and stop being like, well, that's bad. That whole worldview is bad. Like, no. There are parts of it that are actually good. This is why I stopped being like, so at one point I was actually one or the other on my, like my voting. Like they say, are you Republican, registered Republican or Democrat? I had to unregister at some point because I figured this out. Like, no. I'm not any of those things. I want what's best for the most people as possible at any given time. That's what I want. And I think my brother Kiefer, I love your viewpoint. I love the way you see the world, and because I can learn from it. And I think if we were all like that, and Hulk Hogan was like that, things would have played out differently for old Hulk.
Hashtag empathy.
Yeah. All right. Good stuff, Kiefer.
Thank you, Dave.